Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Next Step Espresso, your daily shot of fitness. I am your host, as always, Johnny Landals from Next Step Nutrition, bringing you the podcast that helps you overcome the industry confusion and get results for good. Today, we're on episode 401. When we are looking to improve our diet, a lot of the time, people focus on what to take away. If you think about a lot of the fad diets and a lot of the health crazes, they focus on what you should be removing. Some people are like, hey, cut the crap, stop eating chocolate, stop eating junk food, eat only natural foods. Paleo diet, for example, would have us only eating animal meats, dairy, vegetables, fruits, and that's about it. All carbohydrates are pretty much off the table. Even beans and legumes, which are very, very good for you, are off the table because they weren't eaten in Paleolithic times, apparently. Of course, though, they were, but we don't need to go into that. Keto diet, all about cutting out carbohydrates, as is the Atkins diet. The low-fat or the Ornish diet is all about cutting out the high-fat foods. And, you get the gist. A lot of diets focus on what to take away, rather than focusing on what to add in, which can be a very, very useful and positive mindset shift. So if we focus more on what we can add into our diets rather than what we can take away, we focus much then on a positive action of improving our diet quality or improving our diet in the whole. And this can have a great mental shift toward the actions that we take. If we're focusing too much on what we can't have, a lot of the time, that's all we can think about, right? It's this idea of, in CBT, of not thinking about the polar bear. If someone says to you, don't think about polar bears, the only thing you're going to be thinking about is a polar bear. So if we say, all right, well, I can't eat this food because it's bad for me or it's not included on, the diet that I'm on right now, have a think about the only thing you're going to be fixated on is going to be those foods that you are not allowed, which is going to make it very, very hard for you to stick to the diet. And it also is unnecessary restriction. So this weekend, when we're faced with a plethora of food and drink and social opportunities or what have you in this current climate, I want you guys to remember that you're focusing not on what you can take away, but focusing on what you can add. How can you add in more vegetables to your diet? How can you add in more lean protein? How can you eat and snack more mindfully? Focus on positive actions to do with your dietary intake, as opposed to focusing on negative things and what you should be taking away. Because at the end of the day, there's not really any foods that you can't and shouldn't eat. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Next Step Espresso. If you have, I would love it if you could share this with someone who would find it useful and help the podcast grow and reach more people. I'll see you again tomorrow for another episode of the Flat White Chronicles.